We live in a world where there is enough space for all of us to succeed. We live in a world with so much opportunity, and I know what it's like to live with chronic, extreme, bedridden anxiety. And as a med student who's more than halfway done with her education, I have a lot of high value practices and points as to how you can decrease your anxiety and live a more liberating and free life. So stay tuned and you will not regret it. Hi everybody, my name is Abby, and for today's video, I'm going to be telling you the things that worked for me in reducing my anxiety. I know all of us are different. I actually have a creature in my house just running around. Starting to have my doubts that it's not a gremlin. Yep. We live in a world where there is not only a ton of opportunity, but a ton of information, and we're all kind of struggling with TMI. I'm hearing a lot of stories about people just totally quitting scrolling, all that type of stuff, and I'm here not to give you all the cliche information, but truly the practices that saved my life and gave me the success I've always dreamed of and never, ever knew I was capable of. I will also preface that anxiety, happiness, anger, jealousy, all the good stuff, inspiration, love, all of that exists because we are very multidimensional beings. They have to exist, but the amount that they exist can be tweaked and edited. It's totally normal to have anxiety. I think what matters most is how you are proactive about it. All right, so the very first practice I recommend, and this can come off as controversial, but stop smoking green. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that here. I was getting my nails done a few days ago when I had an absolute epiphany. A few years ago, when I first started med school, I was always anxious, filled to the brim with anxiety. Wow, how am I being perceived? Why am I awkward? Am I walking normally? Why am I this? Why am I that? I wasn't high all the time or anything like that, but I was constantly anxious. And when I was out in the streets, I only noticed the creepy, scary, ugly. Back then, I thought people were ugly people. But now I was telling her, yeah, it's so strange. I guess I adapted or something, because now I only see beautiful people. And now I think about the best case scenario and try to manifest that instead of the worst case scenario. So strange, I guess part of maturing. Yes, but one major difference is then I was smoking. Now I'm not. By quitting, things start to stick. Life feels more mundane. It really does, but it gets easier. The more downs and ups you have, you know how people say if you have high highs and low lows? When you're sober, you have a more mundane life, and when things start to go low, it goes slowly, so you can easily pick yourself back up. But back when I was using substances, it was a deep plummet down into hell and then heaven again. And it's very, very toxic. Imagine you see a little baby. You don't want to make the baby cry and then give the baby the best day of its life and do all these crazy things. And like, you want this baby to feel safe and predictable. Think about your inner child as that baby. You want to protect it. You want to give yourself a predictable, reliable lifestyle. I'm not saying it's gone from my life forever like that. I see it like this, because here's the thing. I have some addictive traits, but I don't think I'm a true addict. So I will say that I had to change my mindset and start viewing that whole concept in this special way. And it works, it really works. I started to view it as an imaginary friend, or just like an old childhood friend. And when you go and hang out with this friend, it's just like old times. It's so fun and chill and casual. You can get loose and crazy, do whatever you want. You can be bloated together. You can eat, terrible food together, not tell anyone about it. You can do all these fun things, be honest with yourself, and relax. But there's one downside. This friend doesn't want to see you grow up. Where are you going? Why are you growing up so fast? Green doesn't want to see you succeed. It's actually quite predatory, if you ask me. I heard someone in a podcast refer to green as predatory, and I couldn't agree more. So I like to imagine it as the imaginary friend that I might visit every few months, years, whatever it might be, just for old times, a good old time's sake, but it's not the path I need to be on anymore. This friend is still a bum, still living in their basement or whatever. Greeeen doesn't want to see you grow, become successful, set boundaries, develop your character. And this is all because of decreased memory and decreased ego. By having no memory, I couldn't succeed in whatever I wanted to do, job, school, hobbies, even learning about the things that I like. Even though I felt a connection, I couldn't remember very well all the things that mattered to me the most. Setting boundaries with friends and connections that needed to end. Yep, that was very sad. So I would just let people walk all over me for many years of my life until one day, it's like so easy now. Like being a sober person, it's so easy. Another one is you forget your progress. We all have things to be proud of, successes big and small. Imagine just forgetting all the amazing things that you've done and you're capable of because you're just hanging out. Truly, there are therapeutic benefits for certain people, but if you are just using it recreationally, I would highly recommend stopping if you suffer from anxiety, because it is night and day the way I feel walking in public settings, doing all these things that used to cause so much anxiety. And now it's so much easier, like so much easier. This is me probably stating the obvious, but greeeen taps you into your hedonism so much. And it's good to limit yourself from your wants and desires and to do hard things to make the rest of your life easier. Practice number 2 would be to read more books. I know that some of us do not like to read, but trust me, if you are desperate enough to be more knowledgeable, cool, I think all the coolest people read books. Think about the coolest YouTubers, the coolest podcasters, the coolest, most inspirational people, they all read. And if you are desperate enough to build your soul and build your character to that level, you will try it too. And here's the thing, if you are not desperate enough to make changes in your life, you are going to continue in that cycle until it's getting pushed too far. I want to make sure everyone understands that I hated reading. I hated reading in high school. The books that they made us read, like Odyssey, I was lost, confused. I didn't know what was happening. I felt like I wasn't really mature enough. But then after I graduated, after cheating through most of my classes, I was really regretful and dissing my educational system because I got away with so many things and I felt like I had no knowledge. And when I had developed my social skills and started talking to people after I graduated high school, I realized I knew nothing at all. And when I listened to podcasts, I thought, how do they know all these amazing things? The truth is, they read. All the coolest people read. All the coolest YouTubers, podcasters, even actors on TV who have this soul, especially old time actors. All the coolest people read. If you want to be cool, you should read. Reading a lot of the times inspires you to read more, which is good. Sometimes if you're not enjoying the plot, maybe this book isn't for you. By reading, you are 1, increasing your speed of reading, 2, improving your eyesight, 3, not using your phone, so that's amazing. You're doing a different form of content creation and adding new vocabulary into your vocabulary. I remember having lots of conversations of me dissing my educational system, and I realized one huge upside of coming out of your educational system uneducated, and it is the hunger for knowledge. Right now, when I read books and learn about previous wars and previous people and previous cultures, whatever it might be, modern, previous, etc., futuristic, this expands your mind in ways you couldn't even imagine. You might be wondering, how on earth are you supposed to have the attention span to read a book in today's day and age? Because we are pretty dopamine effed up. We are pretty effed up in this technological day and age. So my friend Gabe actually recommended that reading on public transportation is very useful. You might get through 2-5 pages a day, sometimes more, depending on how long your transit is. But it's a really nice way to not use your phone and not get nauseous, to read a book. And even if the public transport is crowded, I'm still able to read. And actually, if you're sitting in some chairs, sometimes, okay, if older people come by, usually you should stand up. But if you're having a really hard day, maybe you're on your most amazing part of your menstrual cycle, and you want to sit down and not get asked to stand up, just open a book and no one's gonna make you budge, because it's quite rare to see people reading in today's day and age. By reading 2, 5, 1, 10 pages a day, you are actually gonna get through this book within a year, and that's gonna be more reading than you've probably already done. Also, it's a good way to get through the boring parts of your book. Sometimes books are boring, but it's worth getting through. So that's another thing. By reading on public transport, you can get through those parts and have more inspiration to read the interesting parts later. I'm from America, so I was also driving. So how do you read if you're constantly spread so thin from work to everything? If possible, you should arrive to your job, your school, wherever you're going early, and sit in your car in the parking spot and read. Also, after a hangout or after work, I would go into the car, read maybe 5 pages. Go slow, take it in, because we're not gonna live very long anyway. So go as slow as you need to, because the slower you go, as long as you're understanding what you're reading, that pace is gonna pick up fast. So you have nothing to worry about. I think what I really love about books is putting so many things about your life into perspective, seeing other people who lived much harder lives than you, or what they did in maybe situations just like yours, or maybe the characters and the storyline helps you romanticize life. And that's a huge one for reducing depression, to be able to romanticize life. So I love reading for those very reasons, and that's a form of content consumption. But what about content creation? I think really, really good practice is to journal. I love journaling. I love journaling more than reading. It's easier for me, even though it is hard to write your thoughts because we think faster than we write. But I will say that doing those two things has truly improved my intellect in ways I never thought was possible. I never knew I was smart until recently. And I don't even have a problem admitting that, because even though there's smarter people out there, I truly believe that we all have the capability to be smart and fit into the society in whichever successful branch we want to be in. I think there is space for all of us. Yeah, and last thing, I think reading and journaling really can heal your fried dopamine receptors from all the social media. So it's a really good way to just improve your mental health, genuinely. Practice number 3, welcome the darkness and self-soothe. I talked about this in my previous video, but I will say that I grew up, and when things started to get really hard and really dark, I truly thought the devil latched onto my soul. I was really overdramatic. And sometimes people like to argue that anxiety is just the devil talking, and I mean, depending on what you believe, I do think, light and dark, yin and yang, all of it applies in all of our lives. I think there's balance. The higher the highs you have, the lower the lows. That's why I was saying to stop, giving yourself an unpredictable cycle of hormones and chemicals, but to have a more mundane sort of lifestyle, because you will learn to love it, and you have to trust that it's gonna get better. And when it does get better, you need to write it down, log it, and be like, this is uncomfortable to admit, but somehow my life feels okay right now, and it's fine. By welcoming the darkness, pulling open a chair for it, getting it a cup of tea, just for the tea to get cold and not even to be touched once. By welcoming this darkness, you are healing your inner child. All of the ways that people wronged you in your life, all of the ways you need to do it for yourself. And most likely, the thing that you might view as darkness is really just a crying inner child. It's like the child of yourself that's also you. It's kind of a spiritual concept, but try to hang in there with me. Imagine a child is angry at its parent, really angry because it's been neglected, it's been wronged. It's going to say, you did this, you did that, you're a bad person, you're evil, and the parent might believe that. But if instead you can realize, I have been neglecting myself lately and I want to change it, and I know you might not trust me right now, but together we can build trust together with a slowly forming new routine. By speaking kindly to yourself, you will change so much about your anxiety, and I'm so excited for you to find out and try it for yourself, because it really works to sit and meditate and also use your body. I really think that after starting yoga and using my muscles more, it helps you get out of your head a little bit and not just in the very moment, but afterwards too. You come out of a workout session feeling so amazing in your body because of all the hormones and all of the chemicals that you just released from your muscles and increased blood flow and increased oxygen. We're on to practice number 4. This is to not be so hard on yourself and remember that anxiety is just a survival instinct. Just like practice number 3, where you can welcome the darkness, and practice number 4, you can forgive. Be like, it's okay. Of course you're feeling sad right now. You haven't eaten, you haven't slept, you haven't made yourself feel nourished in a long time, mentally, physically. Usually both are hand in hand, but it's a really good way to reduce the taboo by not being hard on yourself. The more you think it's wrong to feel anxious, sad, judgmental, etc., you are creating more distance between you and the solution, because the solution is to welcome it and tell it that it's safe with you and that you will figure it out together and make a system that's gonna work for you in self-soothing. Self-soothing looks different for a lot of people, but there's ways to do it sober. But I really enjoy journaling and doing stuff like that to really just figure out what my priorities are. And I also have a planner, a physical planner, and I'll write maybe some reminders for myself, like, if this teacher yells at you today, it's not serious, show love instead. Something like that. There's no need to be so hard on yourself, because love grows, hate repels. So if you want to grow and heal and sew back together all of your broken parts, I highly recommend just not being so hard on yourself and telling yourself it's okay, even if it seems pretty crazy. Most likely it's not. Because a reminder, we are very evolved, we are very multidimensional beings, and we have the capability to think and feel countless things. And there's no reason to identify with it and to think that this must be you. Maybe you failed a test, you're not a failure. Maybe you passed a test, you're not always gonna be successful. But you can always manifest and learn the things that help you get a higher streak of success. Number 5 is the last practice I'll be sharing with you today, and it is to practice alone time. If you have chronic anxiety, maybe you don't have enough Hey, what the hell is wrong with you? That's my landlord's chair. That is my landlord's chair. Maybe you don't have enough experience being alone, or experience being alone the right way. Sometimes we're alone, but we are constantly stimulating ourselves with social media or other various activities instead of being truly with ourselves. Something I notice when I travel or go to places that have no Wi-Fi is that the day goes by so much slower. So by being truly alone, you can really realize the things that are important to you, and maybe your downfalls, and maybe downfalls people express to you and how you feel about them, and maybe there is something you can fix. Someone I really don't like told me a long time ago that I seek validation out of everyone I speak to. And I was not in a position to be receiving advice from this person, but I will say that was the single most important thing I've probably heard in a really long time. I noticed that on Instagram, I wanted all the comments, all the likes. Now the algorithm has sort of changed, so it doesn't even matter really how many followers you have. No one's really seeing shit anymore. Oh my God. She's so annoying. She's like a little sister. I'm the little sister, by the way. I study abroad for med school, like I mentioned before, and I was forced into having a lot of alone time. And I will say that I was able to process all of my character flaws, and by admitting to myself that maybe I do seek validation out of other people and it's not fair to them to expect other people to validate me, I was able to uplift myself and have so much freedom when talking to other people, because now it's not about what they think about me, it's how I feel about them. Do I want to talk to you? Do I like you? Another fun fact, kind of with this realization that I had truly just from being alone, is I have professors that I used to try getting to like me because, you know, it benefits you if a professor likes you and is sort of your ally, right? Because they're grading your papers. But I realized what's more effective. This might come off as obvious to a lot of us, but I guess I truly deep down realized that People sense when you are seeking validation out of them and it's not fair to them, and they're turned off a lot of the time if they're a little bit aware. They might see you as an attention seeker. They might think things about you that you probably wouldn't want them to think about you. But what truly works is when you truly like a person and you're able to show that to them, that's when they will actually start to like you, and it has to be genuine. And that's a really amazing formula I learned as well. One very last thing, I do not have a daily routine. I think that it's not good to be so hard on yourself because of the all or nothing mentality. You can start doing things that make sense for you once a week, twice a week, doing it more and more, dropping everything, realizing what's important. That is the way to grow. That is the way to either build a successful routine for yourself that works for you and that you like, or to actually get the things done that you want to get done. So overall, alone time is the best way to process what's most important to you, process everything that you need to do to become the most successful version of yourself for this world. And a little reminder, rejection is protection. So the things that aren't meant for you, don't force it. Something new will come. And I know your anxiety is gonna get better, because if you watch this video all the way to the end, it sounds to me like you actually give a damn about improving yourself. So, praying for you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.